is. I got it. And I am not muted. Woo! Victory is
Yay.
mine. Victory is mine. Hey, folks. Welcome to the show. This is So Chatty. I'm your host, So Matty Games, a.k.a. Matty. And, yeah, I am here back after a week off. That made me sad. I missed you folks. I missed y'all. And I just, I miss seeing my face up on a screen. You know, I like my face. It's cute, right? It's alright. It's alright. I wish I miss my hair. I miss my hair, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm kidding. I really hate myself, but anyway.
What a dark turn.
I know. I'm such a dork. Anyway, I am here with three of my personal friends. And this is a very special episode because I know these people, I talk to these people, I play games with these people. It's these are great people, and I'm glad that I really didn't have to do any research this week. Because I do. I will like comb through people's Twitter feeds and stuff like that when they're coming on the show, just trying to like see what I can, dig up. And I mean, I've see everything on their Twitter feeds for like the last like year, So, yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. So without further ado, my first guest, she is, how do I say, she's like a little sister, totally. And, she is, one of the two amazing women that I play D&D with on Wednesdays. I have, gosh, I don't know. I've known her for a while. It's been a long time. It feels like forever, but in a good way, Dana, how you doing, hon?
That was really vague until that point.
I know. It was so vague. Oh, I love it. I'm a Pisces, so, that's what we do. We're vague. It's good.
I'll just hide my Gemini ass over here. It's fine.
So, it's all
I'm good, Matty. How are you?
I'm great. I'm vague. I'm self-loathing. And
We're a club now.
very,
It's great.
very sensitive. My next guest is the other amazing woman that I get to play with D&D with on Wednesdays, and I absolutely have to say that I have some of the most fun and interesting interactions in our game with this player, because like they literally have it's like a love but oh my god relationship. It's so funny. It's so much fun to play out. Because he's a curmudgeon, and she's Sylvia. That's all we can say, right? She's Sylvia. Riley, how you doing?
Good. Excited to be here with you guys.
I do have to say that I have to thank Riley and Dana both actually helped me with my very first pilot for when I was getting ready to do the stream. So it's on the YouTube channel and stuff. If you ever, we'll probably end up talking about a lot of the same things we talked about then, because that's what we do. We talk about tabletop RPGs and stuff like that here. Now, my final guest, the saving the best for last. I don't know. He is such a good friend, such a great individual, someone who literally is always giving back to the community, and always helping out his fellow friends, fellow gamers, fellow thread raiders, and is literally the first person to ever call me a thread raider, and kind of bring me into the fold of the family. TK, I call him Tyler, but you know he's known as TK, so we put TK on the thing. TK, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I was just thinking, it feels like a lifetime ago that, we like randomly we ran into each other and got just chatting about RPGs.
I
Even though it was
mean,
like a little over a year.
yeah, it was over a year ago.
So much longer.
I know. It's like old like like old friends and stuff like that. It's pretty fantastic. So yes, folks, these three people are people that really mean a lot to me. And I'm just so glad that I was able to get them on the show for the first time, officially, officially for the So Chatty, because when we did the pilot, there was no name. It was just like the So Matty Games talk show pilot, or something like that. I don't know what I put on there. I think it was like then the second pilot, I think I put like whatever name Matty comes up with here, like it's just like I think we had So Chatty figured out by the third pilot. And yeah, I did 3 pilots because I'm a crazy person. So, I think you probably already know this about me. And if you don't, then I don't know, maybe you haven't been paying attention. I'm nuts. So anyway.
Matty, you're friends with all of us. I mean,
I know. You're all crazy. You're all crazy. Like
I was gonna say.
you're all nuts. You're all nuts. It's all good. We will wear straitjackets together. So, before we, oh nuts! What did I do? Okay, great. Hold on. Let me do this again. So I got this really cool. Oh, awesome. So I found this suggestion box thing that would help people put questions in, because people would type them in chat and then chat would start moving and then we'd lose them. And I have a terrible attention span. Well, then it says, okay, I could pop it out. Awesome. I popped it out and then I accidentally closed it. So I had to do this thing to reopen it. There it is. Oh, it's so cute. So before we get started with my normal questions, why don't we go ahead and take some of the questions that have been posed to us. And the first one is, it says anonymous, but I know it is from Kristen in chat. She's the that feeling when fangirls attack, I think, is basically what that screen name means. I love it. And she's definitely a friend of the show. I appreciate the folks that come out so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you. And her question is, what is your favorite TTRPG memory? So we're going to go and we're going to dive into like your introductions to role playing and stuff like that. But what is your favorite memory? And who would like to go first with this?
Ooh, this is a good one.
Well, while we're thinking about it, I will say that, yeah. Oh, and this happened not that long ago. This is from Threads of Fate, my Friday game, and on Soul Bear RPG, and I love emotional roleplay. I love it. Like if I can deal with something like tragic and emotional and all that stuff. I mean, God, I hate it when Mike's character would keep dying and everything like that, but like my character's reaction to it was always like so much fun, which is really sick and twisted. I get that, but I love a good cry. I'm a Pisces, so I guess that's today's theme. So my character is abandoned by like all the kobolds, and that's why he calls himself a dwarf dragonborn. He doesn't call himself a kobold, all that stuff. Well, Quinn decided to like bring his brother into the game, like somehow, and like, oh, that was like, oh, And so my character's reaction was just like, what the hell are you doing here? And all this other stuff. And just furious. And he had this fight, this verbal spat with his brother, and then he takes off and he goes to his room. And he's just sitting there and he's just kind of like contemplating all this, because he didn't even know any of his family were still alive. Kobolds don't live very long because they get eaten and killed and all that stuff. And our friend Griffolian, Martin Franklin from the Nerdy Point of View podcast, was a guest on the show, and he plays an Aarakocra, an owl Aarakocra, a necromancy wizard, which is always kind of tricky because I'm a grave cleric. But but he came in and he was like consoling me and stuff like that, and we had this really deep conversation, and it was like seriously like my favorite moment I've ever had in a game ever. And because it was like it felt real, and I love that kind of stuff. I love it. I just like to be as real and emotional as I can. So Dana, do you have something for us?
I do. I was thinking back. So I got to play through Curse of Strahd partway through because I was added in after another player had left due to personal reasons. And I was playing my life cleric, Tesaria. She was a half-elf Vistani. And we were on our way to the Amber Temple. Fully loaded, had all our spells. We were great. We were going. And we were going towards the bridge, and I ended up blowing like 2 of my higher level spells on a goat.
On a goat.
On a goat. And it was kind of ridiculous, and I was like really embarrassed. I'm like, okay, we're not talking about this anymore. Okay, we keep going. We get to the bridge, and then Strahd shows up, and I was like, oh fuck. And well, we lost Esmeralda during that battle, and I was just like, I'm never gonna be able to look at goats the same way again.
Oh wow.
And I think back to that because I had only been with that game with those players and that DM for maybe 2 or 3 sessions at that point, and it was just absolutely 5 kinds of ridiculous, and I loved it. I just love ridiculousness in games, which is why I love our games so much.
There's a lot of ridiculousness in that game. I literally coined the phrase "embrace the ridiculous." Yes. Oh my god. I love that. And yeah, I think we've all been through Curse of Strahd, and we all remember that bridge, don't we? Yeah. Oh yeah. Riley, what about you? What's your favorite memory?
Okay, so one of my favorite memories is definitely things gone wrong in like meta and in game. So Quinn was DMing us through Curse of Strahd, but it was like an off mission. It was like some witch's hut that came to life, like Abagwanda or something like that. Some weird witch, right? And her hut comes to life and starts like walking around and like smashing people. Well, this is when Quinn's brother used to play with us, and this was when I just got into D&D. So I didn't even know. I thought Quinn was making up the Curse of Strahd story the whole time. I had no idea. I was like, damn, this is really good.
I know, anyway, right? You're like, oh.
So Quinn and his brother used to get in spats all the time about rules. And they were, so they start arguing about some rule of some spell or whatever. And they're really brothers arguing. And so Quinn's like, you know what? And then he had the hut just smash Liam's character and kill him outright. And then that's when I learned. I was like, oh, you shouldn't argue with the DM. Yeah. I was like, that was such a bad idea. Like just one shot, squat.
There's a rule in second edition.
Holy shit.
In the second edition Dungeon Master's Guide, there's a rule that's also in the player's handbook that says, do not anger the DM. They control the dragons.
Yeah. I think Liam missed that rule. Yeah. But I don't think it was fun for either of them. And this is something that only I think I would enjoy
Oh.
because I'm fucked up, but I thought it was hilarious. And then my other couple ones that are my favorites are actually from playing Tal'Dorei with Brian and Dana and Matt, Derek and everybody, when sometimes I say stupid things and I don't realize like the way I think about things is kind of ass backwards, and their reaction to it. And when I realized that my thinking is bad, like when the old man died and I was like, oh, what about his walking stick though? Like he just died and I immediately wanted his stuff. Like I didn't realize that was messed up. And everyone just starts like laughing and I'm like, oh my God, I've done it again.
We are fucking,
Or,
I mean,
like-
it is hilarious. It is always
Shit
like,
that, yeah.
though it's
Rip
always
Giovanni.
like about
Yeah.
like, oh, what about that thing? You know, like, or the stuff, or can I go
I got
through?
stabbed with a dart and I was like, is it valuable? Can I have it?
That's not messed up. That's D&D.
I'm just like so strategic that sometimes I forget to role play. I have this though. Like I want to like collect all the like OP items so I can't die, but I forget to role play it. And I'm just like, even though there's a dagger sticking in my gut, I'm like, oh, can I keep this? So I role play that I just got stabbed in the gut. Not be like, ooh, this is pretty.
I know, right?
You know? Like what kind of thinking is that?
I'm gonna turn on my Eldritch Sight. Is it magical?
Is it magical? like, don't even bother healing. Is it magical?
I mean,
I have a lot of fun with you guys. So a lot of my favorites are just stupid crap like that.
I love that.
But really, just Liam getting punished by the DM for arguing is by far one of the best memories I have. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it's not even like super positive. Like they were mad.
But sometimes those are like really just those are usually the memories that really stick though.
Yeah.
You know?
I just remember me and Brian were like looking at each other like, he's in trouble. Like sibling, like, you know, like dad just freaking slapped, you know, one of the siblings across the table or whatever that saying goes.
Wow. That's insane. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I could totally see that. I love you, Quinn. You're amazing. You're a great friend and a fantastic DM. But I could see that. I could totally see that happening.
Every once in a while it
Like,
goes way
Quinn-
off the rails.
Quinn,
Way
yeah,
off.
just because of that, you've now earned a place in my DM's heart.
Yeah.
Because I have, as a DM, done that to players.
I mean,
There's
sometimes.
another one too where somebody disappeared, but not because they were arguing, but we forgot that they were like drow, so they're like immune to sleep or something.
Oh, okay.
What it was, and he got kidnapped by Strahd like that and disappeared, but it turned out he had like advantage on the roll, and we found out like way later, so his character didn't have to die but did. Yeah. That's also when I started respecting the enemies in D&D too, was when Strahd came up, because I definitely tried to fight him right away.
Yeah, you gotta
Very quick. I was like, oh my God, why is he so strong?
Yeah, no,
At the
no.
same time, still thinking Quinn made up the whole storyline.
Strahd DM, like straight from the book, Strahd is only 8th level. But then you look
this
at
was not a
Ravenloft,
Yeah.
the original, what became Curse of Strahd 5e. Strahd was 15th level.
Mhm.
I like that
Yeah.
Strahd better.
I don't even remember
well,
what level
yeah,
we
I
were, but
mean,
it wasn't. I don't even think we were level 10.
I'm like literally, I'm going through all this Dragonlance stuff, and there's a Dragonlance question we will get to. But yeah, like I'm going through a lot of first and second edition stuff, and yeah, it's like a lot of these like big bad guys and villains and things. They're really they're like 10th level or something like that. I'm like, no, you know, like. No, that's not.
So, honey, no.
No. It was different back then. It was hard to level back then, and yeah, we'll get to that too. What about you, TK? What about you?
Mine is actually not from D&D. It's from Call of Cthulhu.
Okay, awesome.
My friends and I, my group that I played with for the longest time, we actually wrapped up going on 16 years of playing together. Actually, longer than that. We've been playing for 18 years together. We decided this year we just didn't have time in all of our busy schedules to keep gaming, so we're going to probably once every 6 months get together for a massive game. We're on an investigation. We are about to find out who's been killing people at this school. I have almost no sanity left. I believe my entire party's out to get me. I'm the only one with a gun.
Oh no.
And the other person I was playing with, she was with me in the school, managed to get on, for some reason, this school had one of those ice machines, Zambonis. Got on it, rolls a nat 1 on drive.
Oh no.
On a D100.
Oh, fudge.
Drives the Zamboni through the walls, and my first reaction is, something's trying to get me. I unloaded a clip into the Zamboni. And the DM, who was one of our friends, is like, you also have that grenade that you guys stole a couple sessions ago. Like, I rolled, I'm like, all right, let me see if I'm going to actually use it. So I rolled, and I told him, if I roll above 50, I'll use it. Below 50, I'm going to forget I have it. 98. I pulled the pin on the grenade, ran at the Zamboni, and just shoved it under the seat.
Oh.
That was my entire movement.
Oh no.
Oh.
I didn't just take me out. I took out the school, 3 square blocks, and the rest of the party.
Oh.
The DM's like, so I hope you guys are happy. You found out what's going on at the school, and now they're blaming it all on you guys.
Oh.
Wow.
Like, sitting there, thinking, we're mulling it over. It's like, guys, none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened if you would have just listened to me about the whole don't read the creepy book Bound in Human Flesh, right?
I would have read it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, but it was a pretty book. It was a good idea. I was like, investigator, medic, and military trained combat veteran backgrounds. Like, the 2 investigators should have known better. The medic should have kept me from going nuts. And you guys trusted me with a gun.
Yeah.
When I was crazy. Like, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Okay.
Doesn't everything though?
That yeah, and I still wanna play that game.
Me too.
It is super fun with the right group. I mean, I did a one-shot 2 years ago for a charity event where I brought in more to annoy my players, and a shout out to Brian was the Captain Sugar Bear D&D character monster I made up. They were a group of friends who made puns all the time I was playing with. I was like, every time you guys make a pun, he gets stronger, right?
I remember
That's
this.
disgusting.
Throughout the whole
Wow.
night, I'm just adding pluses to his rolls.
Oh my god.
remember
That's
this.
actually like from my nightmare.
Your nightmare. That's funny. So we had another question. Oh yeah, how was it DMing the Dragonlance game? Okay. So one, I haven't really, I DM'd a game sort of D&D back in August. I didn't really do much. I basically got the players together and made them fight each other.
Oh.
And then, I mean, before that, like, I hadn't really run a game of D&D in a long time. So one, it felt good to just DM, to like run a game of D&D. Two, it felt awesome to be like on Kryn and to be able to play Raceland in one episode and Soth in the other. Like, hello, that's gold to me. Like, oh my god, that was so good. And just, being able to do that with my Friday group is amazing, because we are, I think we're a couple weeks away from hitting our 1-year anniversary, since we started that game and that stream and stuff. So we're, it's a great group, and I love these people, like, they're family. And, yeah, it was fun. Just to be able to do that with them, and because I am going to be doing more with Dragonlance, I am going to be doing those on this channel too. So I'm really excited for it. I've got a lot of good, a little fun ideas, and the whole concept of my homebrew of Dragonlance, bringing it to 5e, is, and the Threads of Fate set it up. You know, they have, like essentially opened up a window to Kryn that was never open. You know, the gods of Kryn, they kept the world kind of to themselves and like away from the rest of the material plane, all that stuff. So, well, it's open now, and yeah, so things are going to be different. The River of Time has moved, and so I get to kind of play around with the idea of what would Dragonlance look like if they were writing it today, with today's D&D, you know, like they did back when they were writing it with first edition. There are different classes and races and things that people are used to and like and enjoy. So we're going to be introducing a few things. I've been helped with some ideas from my friend Jackie, aka Death by Mage, and we've come up with some fun ideas to kind of bring some things into Kryn and just kind of modernize it a little bit. So that's kind of, you know, where we're going with that. It's not gonna be just like straight Dragonlance Kryn, you know, like it's gonna be a little different, just a little modified. Just we're just adding. We're not subtracting anything, and that's the thing. I love Dragonlance, but it's a very restrictive setting, you know. So I just want to loosen up a couple of those restrictions a little bit, make it a little bit more accessible to people that like playing certain things, you know. So yeah, that's it. So enough of me talking. God, don't get me started, because I'll just ramble on forever.
When you mentioned how Dragonlance was restrictive, all I could think of is, you remember the days of old school Forgotten Realms. How restrictive TSR's original Forgotten Realms was, because you could never cross over Greyhawk and Forgotten Realms.
Oh yeah,
ever. The worlds were too separate, and but they both have great stuff. Dragonlance has a lot of cool stuff.
It really does, but it's like, okay, if you want to be a mage, you are a part of these orders, you know, like if you want to be a cleric, you are one of these, you know, and there's like, depending on the time frame, you have at most 18 gods to use, because 3 of them give magic to the wizards. It's yeah, I know, folks, it's crazy, it's weird, but it's awesome. It's a beautiful place, filled with awesomeness. Except I basically took my friends through the darkest, gloomiest, saddest bits of Kryn, you know. So I'm sorry, Joy. It was not fun for Simone at all. Like, oh, so much. Yeah, no, so not fun. So I feel bad, but you know, it is what it is.
Well, as Matty, you feel bad. As a DM, you don't.
Right.
DMs.
I mean, as a DM, it's like, oh no, this is awesome. As a friend, I'm like, oh man, you know, someone's not going to be.
DM.
So if you guys become DMs, remember that. Never feel bad as a DM. Feel bad as a person, but as a DM, no. My players, they do something stupid. As TK, I'm like, oh. But as a DM, I'm like, yeah, keep doing that stupid thing you're doing.
Oh my god, I'm horrible then, because I wouldn't even feel bad at all. Like, sucks to suck. Next.
Well, I appreciate that, Joy. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
You would be perfect to run the TPK theater, because it's just it makes meat grinders look like one of those little slap chop things.
Oh my god, Riley would be really good with that. Oh god, yeah, no, Simone cannot go to Dark Sun. No. No. Like, no. That would be awful for her. Oh, so hot. So, oh my God. So awful. Um, it's a fun game though, but, so, so with every group of guests, especially folks who have been on the show for the first time, and though, I've done this in the pilot and everything like that with, Dana and Riley, um, it's still a great conversation starter for a show like this, and so I like to talk to people and ask them about their introduction to tabletop role playing, where it began. What got you started? What was that first experience? And so obviously, because I'm your friends, I know a lot of these stories and stuff like that. But the folks at home watching don't, and this is what we do it for. We do it for them. And to stroke our egos or something like that. I don't know. I don't have an ego. I have whatever is the opposite of that, self-loving. Yeah. Self-loathing. Yeah, that's it. Good times.
You guys said I was edgy. Jeez, Matty.
Hey, I'm just it's Saturday night. It's just time to, we chill, we relax, we self-loathe.
Self-loathe.
It's just the fact he has Tomb of Annihilation box set behind him. It's taking all the joy out of Matty.
Yep, I've got Ravenloft and Temple of Elemental Evil and Tomb of Annihilation, all board games. They're fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, it just sucks all the joy out. It makes you edgy.
A little bit. So, and I don't know if this is updating or not, or there just hasn't been any more questions. So we'll get on to the introductions to TTRPGs. And so Riley, why don't we start with you? So obviously I know the story and stuff like that, but why don't you tell us about your introduction to tabletop role playing?
Okay, it was super random. So Cy had worked with Brian at Volkswagen. They had worked together and they had become really good friends. And we used to play Overwatch together. Well, yeah. Brian said to Cy, he's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to play on Sundays anymore ever again, and blah, 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 for reasons I'm not going to disclose. And so Cy made a joke and was like, oh, what are you getting together playing Dungeons and Dragons or something? And then Brian was like, well, actually, yeah. And so, because he was like saying, oh, if it's Dungeons and Dragons and you're not inviting me, I'm going to be mad. And he's like, oh, well, you want to come? And so Cy comes home and he tells me about it. And he's like, you want to come with me? And I was like, okay. I mean, I've never heard of this before. Like, I didn't know what it was. And we all met at this like bar or whatever. And, they had all these books and all this stuff and like binders of paperwork. And I'm like, what the did I get myself into? And then they were walking me through making a character. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is so crazy. But then I got really into making a character though. Because at any video game, Cy always makes fun of me. I spend like 2-3 hours just like adjusting the cheekbones.
Oh, there you go.
So when I got into character creation, I was like, all right, cool. And then I was just sold after that. And then they recommended that I watch Critical Role so that I could get a gist of how it was played. Because I didn't know when we were playing the first sessions, I wouldn't role play at all because I'd never done that. So I was just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then when I realized you could just do whatever you thought of, it was just done. I was sold. And now I just have too many dice and I have books and all sorts of things. So it was kind of a happy accident.
You can never have too many dice.
Oh my God. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea it was going to take up like more than half of my life.
Right? None of us do. None of us realize it until it happens. And then you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I was able to walk away from this when I was younger. But I came back and I found it again. And then it's like, now it's like really my whole life. But it's good. It's awesome. It brings joy to our lives and literally brings joy to my games.
I mean, honestly, I think the game has made me smarter. like more creative.
No, it really,
like hands down has made me much better at creative problem solving, teamwork. Like it just opens up a different part of your brain that you don't normally use from like at work or like home or doing other things. Like I am definitely much better off, like balanced, like mentally balanced than I was prior to this game. Like I am absolutely blown away by just how much more creative I'm able to be now because of an outlet like this.
And it's I find it so true, and it's one of those things that I didn't really think about much until like later. But I would, I'd be using certain words, and I'd be like, huh, I would not know that word if it wasn't for Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I would never use the term pseudo anything if it wasn't for Dungeons and Dragons, like, but I, when I was in high school, I had, like my uncle and aunt took me in and stuff like that when I was a teenager because my mom, shiz. And, so they like kind of became my parents. And after a few years of living with them, I would just refer to them as my pseudo parents. And without D&D, I would never have, used that term.
Yeah, I even thought of,
It's just, there are these things that come out and you're like, oh, wow, I learned that because of that. Like you pick up things and it's true. There's also the social, building, teamwork aspect to it that really helps you in your daily life, and
it's actually made me more outgoing.
I love that. Yeah,
because before, if I was introduced into a group of people, I'd be much more reserved. I'm still reserved when I meet new people, but not to the same extent. I'm much more comfortable now after, because once you improv like a really weird thing in D&D, like you really don't give a shit anymore. You're like, I am who I am. I'm here, and that's it.
I wish I could say that, but no, I still.
At least for me, it opened me up to not be so reserved with my personality.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Which I don't know is a good or a bad thing yet.
Well,
always a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. Why not? Like let your true flag show and stuff like that, if your brain will let you, I think it's great. So what was no, that's fine. So Dana, what about you? Why don't you tell the folks at home about your introduction to tabletop role-playing?
Okay, yeah, I am also pretty new to TTRPGs and Dungeons and Dragons specifically, and like Riley, I had never heard of it before, ever, until I'm from Tumblr. That's where I lived before Twitter.
Okay.
We're the same.
We are the same, you and I. And some people I was following that I had been mutuals with started just randomly reblogging GIFs from Critical Role from the first campaign, and this was like early 2017. So it was super new, like in the last 2 years. And I was like, oh, this looks really different. I don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is. I don't know what Critical Role is, but okay, sure. So starting in like March 2017 up until like June, I managed to binge all of Critical Role Campaign 1 until the live show at episode 100.
Wow.
So, and that's Critical Role is what got me into TTRPGs and Dungeons and Dragons words. And I was so ready to like get into this. I bought my own player's handbook and I taught myself how to create a character, having no idea how to do it. It was very confusing and I got a few things wrong at the beginning.
Wow.
And then I couldn't find a group to play in because I didn't know about online playing at the time.
Yeah.
And so I got some of my coworkers and good friends today. I was like, do you want me to run Dungeons and Dragons for you? I've never done this before. Let's do it. And so I ran my first game of my homebrew worlds, July 2017. And then I think a few weeks later, I played in my first game. And I have been doing not stop since, and I want to keep doing it forever and ever and ever, and I have no regrets.
Right. I mean, it is so fun. You know, it's just so much fun. And I love the fact that, that not only were you like so determined to play that, like you self-teach yourself and all that stuff, but you get yourself a group of people and you say, I'm going to run a game. Like, you want to play? And because I want to do this. And I think that's awesome.
Only one person in my group had ever played before, and he hadn't played since 3.5. So
it's like a whole new game.
It's been fun. We actually we played Thursday night, so we're still playing a year and a half later.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm running them through their first dungeon, and they hate it.
Oh, their first dungeon? Oh,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you played for that long and never been in a dungeon, like, you're like, oh, what is this crap?
Yeah.
Because it's a totally different, like, it is a different play,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Doing the dungeon thing, like, worrying about, traps and secret doors and all this other shit, and
the dagger from last game came to mind.
Yeah.
From investigating the dagger, but I didn't investigate for traps and then triggered the trap. Yeah.
Or the fact that, like, it is so easy when you have, like, as a DM, like, when you have players in a dungeon, to, like, get them to a point where they come to a door and they will spend so much time trying to decide what they're going to do with that door. Like, are they going to touch it? Are they going to open it? Are they going to unlock? Are they going to, it's like, oh.
I've gotten to tell my players, we ran into that one week, they're like, well, we're going to investigate the door, checking it for magic, checking it for traps. No one thought to check the floor, though?
Oh, that is the worst. I hate that.
Open door, fall down.
Oh. That's the shit that happens to me on the raid all the time. Oh, that drives me nuts.
Oh, okay. That's a good. Well, and awesome. We did get another question, but before we get to that question, I definitely want to hear about TK's intro, because I know TK he goes way back, much like I do. And it's one of the things that we've had long discussions over the year or so, about just our experiences from back in the day when we were, because we're dinosaurs and stuff,
Pretty much.
But I was, I love an intro story. I love a meet cute, and so I love to hear these little meet cute stories about how people meet, D&D and fall in love. It's like the best love story ever.
Okay. My intro. Let me take you back 26 years.
Okay.
To a tinier me. It stood about the size of my laptop stand right now. My dad, my brother, one of the ladies from my dad's unit, when he was in the army, and my brother's friends were all playing. I only knew they were rolling dice. I wouldn't know why. So my dad said, okay, if you sit and watch and listen, I'll let you play in our next campaign. Year later, I was in my first campaign, and they ran 12-hour sessions.
Holy crap.
I managed to, with a 5-year-old's attention span, sit through 8 of 12 hours.
That's insane.
Of a game. Then I fell asleep. But from there, it just went to me getting my own group together. Throughout, we all went to high school together. We had 2 cheerleaders, Jock, head of the science club, and me. It's high school, so people wanted to pick on people, and I just reminded them all, I was like, okay, guys, I have one rule. We don't bully people, and remember, I can whoop all your asses, and I'm the GM.
Oh, yeah.
Not only will I murder your characters, I'll just beat you in real life. Also started a 20 plus year dice addiction. In my garage, there are 2 pillowcases filled with dice that I call, they're my bad dice.
Wow.
And
That's a lot of
yeah,
dice.
I've played. I did take a brief hiatus when I was in the military because we just didn't have time.
Yeah.
Even I played. I would get together with a group, and you couldn't have dice. It's actually against
Oh.
uniform
Okay.
code of military justice to have dice.
Yeah. Fair.
So we
wonder
thought
if-
around it.
Yeah. I wonder if the dice thing is for gambling. Like they think you're going to gamble.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That
we
makes
thought
sense.
around it. We took pieces of paper and wrote numbers on them, put them in various bags, and you would just shake the bag, reach in, and take it out, and that was your die roll.
That's pretty good. That's pretty creative.
Yeah. I think.
like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that's probably. That's what I
rules
was
have
thinking in my
changed.
head. I'm like, what would you do? Oh yeah. You know.
The rules have changed a lot since then. Now there are online dice have effect, and there were not.
Yes.
D&D was still very much the, people think it's evil in the dark
You know,
until
you got your pencil,
Oh,
your
yeah.
paper. You know, like, you had a clipboard. Yeah.
I still have some of my books on my shelf from when I started. I have my first player's handbook belonging to my dad. I have
Oh.
the original. I know Matty will remember these. The class supplement guides.
Oh God.
I have 2 of them for psionics, and I'm just surprised I still have them. It's like I have 2 of these. Oh right, because you had to have 2 stupid books if you wanted to class in psionics. Book 1 and book 2 that were released 4 years apart.
Oh.
And they were
okay.
like, and and back then, stuff was cheaper because money stretched further. Those things were not cheap. None of those
$26.
things. Yeah. $26 was a lot of money back then.
1992, $26,
Oh.
which equates today to $94.
Man.
I looked it up because someone asked me how much it would cost today to buy one of those. And I looked, I was like, I remember mowing lawns and saving up money for an entire summer to buy 3 books when they were released at the end of summer.
Oh yeah. Well, and that was the one saving grace for my group back then was that when we were playing, second edition was the game at the time. But our main DM learned when he was younger from his older brother, and they played first edition, and so that's what we played, and we only played first edition. So we would buy our books at the used bookstore, and the used bookstore where I grew up was great, and they always had D&D books. Like it was so weird, but thinking back, I'm like why did they always have so many D&D books? Like we always got, we all had a complete set, and most of them were used. And that was nice because we paid $12 for a book, Yeah, it wasn't like the cash grab that second edition was. So to get to our next question, are you all out to your day job coworkers about Dungeons and Dragons? Yes. Oh, that's
I gave out dice for Christmas from Tabletop Loot this year to everybody.
Store manager got me dice because she didn't know what else to get me.
Hey, there's my nephew. Ah, that's cute.
I bring it up to clients. Because I do hair for a living, and I'll kind of ease into the subject because I'm looking for, compadres. And actually quite a few of my clients play Dungeons and Dragons as well. And they're like, oh, cool, you do that? So yeah, no, there's a couple of the older stylists who'll be like, oh, you're playing Dungeons and Dragons with the old stigma mindset. And they're like, you're crazy, you're a weirdo. And I was like, I know, I love it. It's fun. You want to play? And they're
I've
like,
derailed meetings with D&D talk because my bosses all played D&D, and it was like one day we got talking and I was just fiddling with my dice waiting for the meeting to start, and it was like, question for you, have you read this book? Like, I could waste 2 hours of my day just by derailing this on talks of why the second edition guide is not the same as the fifth edition guide. Screw it, I'm doing it. Next thing you know, oh, sorry guys, no time for this meeting. I got another meeting to run to.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I think that's what's really awesome, at least with the internet and streaming and things like that, is that there's not a lot of like taboo things to talk about. Does that make sense? Like it's much more easy to talk about what you're interested in without worrying about backlash. I feel like 5 years ago or like 10 years ago, like I wouldn't even tell people that I read manga.
Okay.
Like,
right.
Because there was a couple kids in middle school that I remember got ripped a new one because they were into manga. And I remember my brother had a ton of them. And I remember thinking, I was like, okay, I don't know what that is. But yeah, I was like reading all of Naruto and Full Metal Alchemist. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Nope. So like now I'm like, I don't care. I mean, it could be age, but.
That is also part of it. It's like, you know, the older you get, honestly, like
the less you give a shit
about
Pretty
certain
much.
things. About certain things.
Like, when it comes to a safe hobby, like reading D&D, you don't hear about people doing some of the crazy, stupid stuff that other hobbies require you to do, or spend the amount of money other hobbies require you to spend, like base jumping, like
or
600.
CrossFit. That is crazy.
It's also dangerous to your health.
Yeah.
Yeah. My knees are already bad.
Same.
I mean, you know, it's just not. No, don't do that. Don't do that. That's not smart. Okay. We got a question from Kristen again. What's your favorite dice set? Hey. This is a very good question because we all love dice. Dana, what about you?
God, I have so many to choose from.
I know, it's like picking your favorite child. Sort of.
If I had any.
No.
I do. It's my cat and my dice. Those are my kids. No, I'm kidding. Just my cat.
I mean, you pay a lot of money for them, so. Oh gosh, I'm not sure. I have a lot. I had to edit my dice count recently because I was like, oh, I have 719. Oh wait, I forgot about this set, so I have 730. But then Matty just sent me a set, so now I have 737.
Damn.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think probably though would have to be there's a red and green set that I got for Christmas, my first Christmas after I was into D&D, that Keely gave me for Christmas.
Aww.
And it's just like it's just a Cheswick set, and we were at a game store together in person, and she was like, I'm buying you guys dice, and she bought them for me, and I'm pretty sure they're still my favorite set just because she gave them to me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I
haven't actually rolled them for a game yet though, so I'm
Oh,
waiting for the right character to roll them for.
okay.
I have a lot of dice I haven't rolled yet.
That brings up another topic. But Riley, what about you?
Okay. So I've noticed a trend in my dice.
Okay.
My dice have characters they roll well with and characters they don't roll well with.
Fair.
So right now, since I'm only in Tal'Dorei, right, that's the only Dungeons and Dragons game I'm playing right now, the only dice that rolls well for Sylvia are the ones that Matty sent me from Tabletop Loot. It's the big one, and then there's like a really pretty like red one set that works right now. But my other ones, they don't like Sylvia at all. At all.
It is really funny because I like to, like just like TK, like I like to send people tabletop loot dice. They have great dice, folks. But I always hear this like, it's like, oh, the tabletop loot set that Matty sent me, they're really lucky for me. And it's like, it's kind of become a thing. So, yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad.
Yeah, they're the only ones who will work with Sylvia. It's just the rest of them. It's just like 3s, twos, ones. That's it. Nothing higher than a 10 ever. It's just tragic.
I think like Joy's in the chat, and one of my very first dice giveaways. I think she won one of the very first ones, and and this is, I think, like even before we even started playing our game. But like, it was funny because before each game, like she, like many, do little dice roll off to see like what set is lucky and stuff. And like the dice set I sent her was always like the lucky ones, and so that always made me feel good. I
feel like when you send dice to somebody or like you gift dice, they're usually good luck. Like I haven't had anybody gift me dice that were no good except for Sai, which means that he was definitely giving them to me for the wrong reasons. Like instead of getting me flowers when he messes up, he gets me dice. And
okay.
That's why my one campaign I played, so I sent all my players dice. Because I was tired of them rolling crappily during the game.
Blaming it on you.
I was like, all right, I'm sending you all dice because in 4 sessions, you've died 3 times.
And I missed a question.
Yeah, new dice for everybody. That's funny.
So what about you, Tyler? Do you have a favorite set out of like 50,000?
I do, and these are, it's kind of a loaded question because I actually made these.
Oh.
They are dice I made when I got into streaming with one of my friends who unfortunately no longer streams it. It irks me that he stopped streaming. But my first foray into streaming D&D was on YouTube, my one friend's channel.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, why don't you make us all some dice up? Because you know how to make them. So I made dice with all of our initials. So I actually have a set of dice that are in my locked box that I have that will never be used again because they were special. They just say TK between all the numbers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
They are my favorite dice because they're also the D10 is also the only loaded dice I will admit to owning. It will always roll a 10.
Well. You heard it here, folks. Tyler, he's a cheater. He's a cheater.
Only on that D10 because we switched from D&D to Vampire. So like, D10 and D12. Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that, man. Were you the player or the storyteller?
I was the storyteller. For that.
Okay. Well, then that's fine. I know that sounds awful, but it's a narrative game. It's okay. The dice don't really play that big of a role. So apparently, I am still getting used to this little extension here, but it is awesome because I'm not missing the questions. Except I missed a question because one fell below one. But I found it. I saw it. So we have another question. Are there any tabletop role-playing games besides Dungeons and Dragons that you folks want to try? Who would like to take this one first?
I'll be right back, so not me.
Okay. What about you, Dana?
Because I've only played 2 tabletop games outside of D&D 5e, and that was the Galactic Mistakes, the Star Wars FFG campaign we played for a little while, and then I played the one shot with you for Vampire, and I would love to give 5th edition Vampire a try.
Oh yeah.
Like I have been like really into it. Like I'm watching LA by Night on Geek and Century right now, and it's very, very good. And I've been reading up on the rule differences between the editions, and I feel like it would be a lot easier to get into with the new edition and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I also just loved the game we were in, and I love like all the lore about World of Darkness I've been reading up on, and I would love to give Vampire another try. But also the Fate Core system, I really wanted to give a try because it was one of the first other games that I actually like got to watch on stream and like read about. So
I've got to say, I absolutely adore the folks at Evil Hat. They are so friendly. I cannot tell you how amazing those people are.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, it's a great game and a great group of people. Um, Tyler, what are there any games you haven't tried? No, I'm kidding.
It's not out yet.
There's so many games out there, so
I've played almost all of them that are out. Well, okay, I should rephrase. I have played every current tabletop RPG that is out. The one I want to try that's not out yet, but I'm listening to a podcast that's getting to play test it, is the Trials of Cthulhu.
Huh. Okay. I haven't heard of this one.
Me either.
It's really an interesting take on the Call of Cthulhu system. It uses the D100 to build your character. Okay. So you have your stats based off that, but it removes the aspects of combat 100% from the game. Oh. There is no combat. It is a straight narrative investigative game that you can do with just 2 percentile die is all you need.
Huh.
So even just 2d10s would work.
Yeah.
To have a game. And I want to try because I've been listening to this podcast that's running it. And they're what they're calling mini episodes where they'll do like a 15-minute playthrough of the rules. And it sounds so fun. But it's not coming out till March. I applied to be in the beta for it, but I missed their filing deadline because I thought I had hit send on the reason why, because I wanted to review it for the Thread Raiders podcast, and I didn't hit send on the email. It was just sitting in my outbox. It was like,
no.
Technology!
I know, right?
Well, this is what I get for typing an email on my phone. Should have done it on the computer.
Yeah, email. I had some struggles with email today, so email's a bitch sometimes. Riley, what about you? Do you have a tabletop role-playing game that you're dying to try?
So I am kind of interested in Vampires the Masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also a creature of habit and don't like change.
Right.
So I'm super happy with just Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean,
like if
D&D
somebody was like,
awesome,
I'm running this game, you're joining, and like bullied me into it, I'd probably start it, try it, and love it. But I am a Taurus. I like what I know. You know what I mean? But I know this is how I'm gonna until I'm persuaded with food to try something.
You're like most, honestly, that's how most people begin D&D. Like just that habit. I didn't try new games till I was playing for 12 years. Granted, there were no new games out. There were some micro new games, like one Matty and I were talking about on the podcast was what's called D6 Open, where it's just a D6 system where it's like, oh, hey, here are your 4 stats you get. And here's a potential storyline you can go with that existed from 94 to 96, and then it making a resurgence this year because some fans decided to go fund me to buy the license for it.
Oh wow.
Like it okay, I'm surprised to hear this after almost 20 years, but hey, it's coming back.
Yeah, I think I just haven't gotten my fill of D&D. Like, because I haven't really DM'd a full campaign or, played every character type or anything like that. So I haven't gotten my fill. I have to I'm like a completionist. Even in video games, I have each stat I complete one at a time.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
So I won't move on until I've mastered everything, in one category. So Dungeons and Dragons is a very large category. So it's going to be many years
really
before I play out
yeah.
everything. And I'm like, okay, now something new.
Riley, you're gonna be like me and Matty, where someone's like, oh, I need this character made. You're like, one sec. Just start sifting through files. Okay, here's how you build them. Here's how I built mine. And here, give me about 2 hours. This one's unkillable.
This one's unkillable. Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's like because like for me, I have really shied away from trying to like add more games, like new games to my brain space because at this point, at age 41, the brain space isn't quite all at what it was like when I was 15, 16 years old, playing every game we could find. So I tend to like shy away from it. It's like I'm like, well, like I'm really good with D&D, so and but I have been, doing the Kickstarter thing, obviously, and stuff. But the game that I really want to try and learn, and actually I just put a tweet out about it, trying to see if I could get some people with experience in it to come onto the show and have a show about it, is this game right here. It's the Star Trek Adventures. Because
Yes.
I love me some Star Trek. I am a TNG nerd. I didn't care for the original series. Don't at me. But
Don't at me.
Picard was the best.
but
Just saying.
TNG, I mean, when it came out, I was 10, and they had a 15-year-old boy like in the show, and I was like, oh my god. And he was like a little like genius that nobody understood, and I was like, oh my god, it's me. And yeah, I fell in love with the show. I I know I'm not a genius, obviously, but I was definitely the kid who was smarter than the other kids. Don't you have? Wait.
Oh,
do you have
Matty.
it?
I have
yeah.
a friend who's currently running that game. I will put you two in contact with each other because she's running the Star Trek game for my brother-in-law, her husband, and like 4 of their friends or our
Okay.
mutual friends on Sundays. I'll put you guys in touch because she keeps asking me to stream with her. Like, okay, find a time you can stream when I'm not already busy. So sometime in 2020.
There you go. It is what it is. But no, that's awesome. Yeah, I've already heard from some people from that tweet. That's really exciting. So I hope to have that an episode next month. Just talking about this beauty right here, and maybe, I don't know, we can put together like maybe a play test or something like that. Because yeah. Also, I had a amazing RPG writer and creator here on the show at Nerdburger Craig, and he created a game called Keepers, and we talked about it here on the show. And I'm not sure what episode that was. I'd have to look back, but I do want to do a one-shot of that game. If you're interested and whatnot, go ahead and send me a message on Twitter or here or whatever. If you'd like to be involved in that. I've only got a couple replies in the Soul Bear Discord, but I definitely want to put a one-shot together for that because it's a really cool looking game, and you can go to golly, it's what's the Drive-Through RPG, right? Go to Drive-Through RPG, look up Capers. There is literally the starter stuff, like character sheets and like an intro guide and all that stuff is free to download. So you can like download it and read it and check it out. It's silly. It's like set in the 20s, Prohibition, and you're actually like gangsters with like superpowers and stuff like that. So I was just like, that sounds like fun and a little dark, and why not? So
I just binged Peaky Blinders. I need like I have to.
Yes, yeah, TNG is the best for sure. Deep Space Nine is very good. If not, it was different, and I can
If
appreciate
TNG's
it a
10,
lot now. But yeah,
if TNG's the 10, Deep Space Nine is truly like the 8 or 9 on the scale of best Star Trek.
I mean, it's a different narrative and stuff like that. So, Oh wow. Okay, we got a couple more questions. Awesome. Uh, okay. Okay. Here's a good question. Do you prefer to play or DM? Who's got a preference?
I'm a forever GM. I've learned that about myself. I'm better at running it and creating the narrative because of how my brain now works after doing it for being a GM for 14 years and a player for half that time of 14 years, being only a player once or twice and running 10 to 12 games a month for like 2 years, or I should say a week. Every month it would switch up players. I got better at GMing than I am a player. I could give me a prompt. I can make you a world on a drop of a pen, but tell me, okay, we're playing in this world. I'm going to find a way to actively make my character in such a way that it just pisses people off because I've been playing so long. I point out Extra Life. Somebody donated, one of my friends did. They donated $100 and asked me, because they were watching the stream, to play the most obnoxious, dumbass character I could make. So I made this great monk that was going to own. I had to message Max, like, all right, I had to switch my character because somebody donated for me to do it.
Wow.
And so I made a pyromaniac monk that had feet that prevented him, like I'm good at doing, prevented him from dropping below 1 HP. So I just kept getting knocked prone.
Okay. Wow.
Max said you could have one magical item of rare. It's like halfling monk. All right, this will work. A ring of rejuvenation, rare magical item.
Oh yeah.
Prevents the wearer from dropping below 1 HP.
There you go. There you go. That's a good one.
I just spent most of that on the ground because I was smaller than everyone, and so the party would intentionally knock me over.
Oh.
Mostly
because I made it at the very beginning before we started streaming. Like, just so you guys know, somebody donated. I'm a pyromaniac. I am going to burn this bitch down.
Okay. Well, then yeah, you gotta just knock him over. Dana, that's basically how you started was DMing for your friends. Do you have a preference?
I do and I don't, because I love to DM for my homebrew game. And I don't know if it's because they're my really close friends and we've been playing for so long and they're like really into the story, but part of me is just, I think I actually prefer being a player just because I myself love to explore the unknown. Right. And I love to explore other people's worlds and like the work they put into it and appreciate the work that they've done. So I just think if there was a scale, it would be like playing right here and like DMing right here, and there's barely a difference, but there's slightly a difference.
A slight difference. Okay, that's fair.
I will love DMing forever because I did it first.
That's awesome. I love that. I don't know too many people that do that too. It's like it's not super common. Riley, have you run a game yet?
One shot.
Okay, that was
on New Year's 2 years ago now.
Okay.
And I did it real quick. We were all drinking, so I drew up a dungeon on a piece of notebook paper and made up some monsters and ran them through it. But that's the only time I was ever able to DM. After that, I haven't been able to find a group or find the time because I'm a completionist and a perfectionist. So I'm not going to run a game until I've read exactly where I want to go and like how I'm going to start it off, and then I'll wing it from there. But I have to have at least the structure of the house set in my brain before I'll do it, which is probably either going to be a flaw DMing or a really great asset. I don't know.
It's both. That's putting your personality into your game.
Yeah. I have a feeling if I can get a group and I start DM, because I bought Prince of the Apocalypse and I started reading through that for the first campaign I want to run. But now I just have to find a group of people. And I want this one to be in person because I only play Tal'Dorei online right now. But I really do miss sitting at a table with all my papers and everything and my little binder. And Brian used to have a trapper keeper. I used to make fun of him. But yeah, so, like I just miss the face-to-face interactions. It's a lot more fun because you can feel people's energy better when you're in person.
Also makes it easier to whip a dice at someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're screwing around on their phone while you're giving a narrative, just whip a D4 at their head. Like, so what did I just say?
And I missed the map, the battle map.
Okay,
And,
that's fair. I get that.
when it was like foggy or like spooky, I would vape on the map. Fog.
That is cool.
You're your own
So-
dragon.
Yeah, exactly. And then
love
I would
it.
have an excuse to buy minis and buy a bunch of stuff that I don't need.
Story of my life.
Well,
I'll make
Like-
a paper mache dragon until I can buy a dragon mini.
I keep buying all these
Or
books
origami.
back here, right? And then I buy them on D&D Beyond 2. So like all those books, like I haven't touched those books. Like, I don't know. Some of those books I bought, and never opened.
Oh no.
Matty, that's why my wife told me no more D&D books, to get rid of some of your D&D books. I was like, wait. Well, that's because our old house, I had those giant bookshelves that go wall to wall. We had our own little library room, and it was the room was 20 by 18. One of those walls was filled with my D&D books.
That's a lot of D&D books.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking 20 plus years of collecting, not just D&D, but also Dragonlance and all the TTRPGs. Like, I can get them online, and now I have 2.4 terabyte hard drive filled with D&D books.
But I like seeing them on the shelf. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
pretty, And
So I still have my old ones on my bookshelf because I like looking at them every morning. It's really nerdy of me. But every
Yeah.
morning when I'm making my coffee, I kneel down and just touch the books.
Yeah.
I know. It's like
They're so
I look at
weird.
them. I haven't opened them in a while. Now personally, while I do enjoy running a game, I think I definitely am a player preferred type person myself. And maybe it's because I don't know. I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of brain space left. So, it's a lot of work to put together a game and run it and stuff like that. And I enjoy just sometimes, some days, I really just want to show up and react. Like just react to whatever the DM and the other players are doing and go with it. And really just get into the headspace of that one character, But yeah, no, I do enjoy running games. I really have fun with these, with that at times. But it's not like my number one, Like I love being a player,
I have learned as a DM, I can let my players run the session for me if I'm too exhausted by just giving them a prompt now. Like, I did that this past Monday because I had a hard day at work. I gave my players a prompt of, you encounter this item. You encounter these three beings. They ran with it for 2.5 hours of our game, trying to just figure out what these things were. When I told them from the beginning, they're here to answer questions you have about what you're about to face. They decided to try attacking them until they realized, all right, we can't hit anything because if we try to, they dematerialize. 2 hours of them trying to figure out how to kill it.
Oh my gosh.
Get a good player group though. As a GM, you can just do that. Like, I'm having an off day, I'm going to throw something at them and see what they do with it.
I mean, all you needed was a door, and there goes an hour.
I mean,
You encounter-
that one session I ran, was it, or did we do two? No, I think it was just one. With Dana, Keeley, and I had you guys in that dungeon, and then like near the end of the session, you guys were like at a door for I don't know how long, and it was hilarious because there was nothing. I mean, there was nothing in the room. There was nothing with the door. It wasn't, like it was just a door. But I had like literally like every other door they came across was like, and honestly, I mean, I built a dungeon. I built a maze dungeon, and it was fantastic, and we didn't finish it. And I put it in Roll20, damn it. I built it from scratch in Roll20. And this is why I have not gone back to Roll20, because that was like...
You burnt yourself out with one dungeon.
But like literally like every door I was just like, and I was pulling stuff out of my butt at, because I was like, you know what? This could be fun. Let's do this. And I'm like, all right, what happens when, so you're going to do what? Oh, you're going to touch the, okay, now this happens. I'm like, oh my God, like, I mean, like I was electrocuting them or throwing them against the wall or something. And yeah, I loved it. It was so much fun.
I will say that Kismet took no damage the entire time. 8 hit points, no damage. Great.
Maddie, remember when
Joy, thank you.
When I ran Retroverse back when we were hyping it, the 20 minutes you guys spent trying to figure out how to open the electronic lock, the key card was right there.
Right.
No one thought search the body. Nope, there's a door here. Let's try everything we can to open it. I think it was actually you, Matty, who's like, I'm going to search that body over there. There's a key card. I mean, granted, but you ran Vampire. We did the same thing. Me and Dak did. It's like, there's a door here. All right, let's first inspect the door for traps and then pick the lock. And then carefully open the door really slow.
Doors are fun. It's like, especially when you're a GM, you can really do it. Oh, thank you, Wiley. Yeah. Oh, God.
You know what's messed up? Those rugs smothering or...
Yep.
Yeah. I'm actually terrified of rugs now.
They're meant to be that.
I've had two
Wednesday when Brian was like, one hallway's a rug, one hallway's cobwebs. We're going to the cobwebs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
No, Brian. No.
No rugs.
That explains
Not
why
today, Satan.
when I gave people during extra like the TPK theater, because they all watch the stuff that's streamed through all of us, and there's a room with a rug, and they're like, just immediate response, nope, we're going the way where the red lights are coming from. Even though
Fair.
That's safety to your left. I mean, I flat out told them this is a safe room. We don't believe you.
Honestly, I love you to death, TK, but I wouldn't believe you either. We have another question, and this one, do you ever dress up to play sessions like elf ears or wizard hats and the such? And yeah, of course, I love it if I am able to. I don't carry a lot of costumes and stuff like that, but occasionally I'll throw on a wig or something, or a hood or whatever. I know Dana. Dana's really big on, she's got the elf ears, and
I've got Jester sitting on my dresser right here.
Oh yeah, those are gorge.
I almost wore her on Wednesday, and I was like, no, I'll wait.
I mean,
it's fun.
Yeah. What about you, Riley? Have you ever done any?
No, but I've been dying to.
Okay.
I just have to do it.
Yeah.
So
Do it.
I've been online, put a bunch of stuff in my shopping carts or whatever, and then just looked at it and then just like haven't done it. Because if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get everything put together. Like if I dress up for Sylvia, like I'm gonna have a wig, I'm gonna have contacts, I'm gonna do my skin blue.
I'm gonna be blue.
I'm gonna be blue. Like that's most of my problem with starting projects or doing something new is that I have to go all out. Like I won't start small. Like I have to go big the first time.
I get that.
Thus lies my dilemma. But I should start buying little things. I don't know what's wrong with me.
That's how I started making dice. I started small. I still got this stuff to make everything. The final thing I actually got when I wanted to make dice, like my own custom dice, was the 3D printer. That was the last piece I bought. So like, all right, I have all the cups and everything I need. I have all the mix equipment. I have a respirator because, there's a chance these chemicals could kill me.
Fair.
Okay, yeah, that's it. I'm going to go on shopping online and I'm going to get a Sylvia costume put together.
The only reason why I haven't bought a wig for Rain is because I don't know how long she's gonna live. So
that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Brian is so unpredictable. You know, we've hit the hour and a half point, and so we probably should be wrapping up here pretty soon. But we're not going anywhere yet. But there is a question in up here, and I believe it was actually even though for whatever reason the box isn't like telling me who posted the question. I'm pretty sure this is one's from my nephew, because he is dying to play D&D. He and his friends are really curious about it. They don't have any experience and stuff like that. But the question, what's a great one shot for a group of friends who have never played before? And I will say right off the bat, is get the 5th edition starter box, the starter set. And right now, I think on Amazon, it's like at its lowest price. It's like $10 and something cents. It has a dungeon in there, or it has an adventure in there already set up with 5 pre-made characters and a set of dice. And, oh, Michael, you forgot your dice here that I gave you for Christmas. I got you a hoodie. I'll be sending them to you as soon as I get a mailing address. And I'm talking to him, like, you know, but, you know, I'm an uncle, so whatever. Like, go on Amazon, get that box set, okay? It has, like, even just, like, the basic rules in there and stuff like that, too. But, of course, I've already gifted him a player's handbook and a DM's guide, you know, as you do, because I have a nephew who wanted to learn about D&D, so, of course, I went crazy, as I do. So, yeah, definitely do that. But I wonder... and 5th edition's a great place to start, right? You know, like, I think you'd all agree. Yeah. You know, it's a what do you say? It's a very...
It's user-friendly.
Yes, exactly. It's very user-friendly. It's easier for people, like new players, to get into the game because it's not super complicated. But it has enough flavor to give you plenty of options and things like that without... you know, like 3-5ing it, you know, or 2ing it, you know, or 1ing it.
AD&D 2.5. The rules, I'm going to say is THACO.
THACO.
I say screw it. Just do Chris Strahd. Screw it.
I mean...
Go fall in love. It'll be great.
I don't suggest that.
It'll be fantastic.
After you do the Minds of whatever it is, I would then do Curse of Strahd because it is really great.
Yeah. Or even Tomb of Horrors. Curse of Strahd, Tomb of Horrors, they add a bit more flavor. Avoid Tomb of Annihilation like the plague. If you don't want to run into so much crunch in the beginnings of learning, that you're sitting there like, why do I have to learn 7 new races and their stat blocks that aren't playable? Because, well, now they're playable, but when TOA first came out, they were not.
Right.
And then 2 months later, they're playable now. Yeah, and then rude gesture wizards.
But you know what? Actually, you know, Brad and Chet, the Waterdeep book, that's a great place to start too, because it literally is set up to be for beginning a game, like levels 1 through 5. There are, I think, there's supposed to be like 4 different options you can run and play through, and there's a lot going on in that. And it's in the city, which is another fun aspect to it. And then after that, go get that, you know, mage dungeon and go into the great dungeon. Yeah, why not? Because
or even like sheep, was it Sheep Chase? There's a lot of good ones online too, through
That's very true.
DM's Guild.
There's a lot of great stuff on the DM's
I have
Guild.
Wild Sheep's Chase pulled up on my phone because that's the one I wanted to mention.
Okay, there we go.
It's the only.
I dropped it for my players one day when I didn't have any idea to do it. I love it. So good.
Awesome. So I think that might be the last. Okay, this was great. Okay, so I'll be using this for now on. This was very helpful. We got in a lot of questions today, and that was a lot of fun. And yeah. It's what's it called? Sheep Chase?
Yeah. The Wild Sheep Chase.
The Wild Sheep Chase. There we go. And yeah, so go to dmsguild.com, and there's a lot of great stuff on there. Oh, it's free.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. If you click on that one, it will say customers have also bought that little thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's over 300 free one-shots on there that are for levels 1 to 25.
And it's like I know that, like, my nephew, when he was here, they were talking about how he they don't have any experience, and they don't have any experience running games and stuff like that. And I tell him, like, dude, anybody can run a game. Like, all you have to do is just try it. So, and if you have the right materials, like, anybody can do it. It just depends on, do you love doing it? Are you good at it? Are you so at it? That's okay, but that's how you start. And once you start, you'll figure all that stuff out. And it's like I said, with all these different things, like free one-shots and things like that, every person in your group of friends can take a turn trying it out and running a game for everybody else. And you guys will find who the dungeon master of your group is. It'll happen. That's just how it happens. Somebody naturally, like, rises to the top of that DM pile, and just blows everyone's socks off, and they actually, like, fall in love with it. And then you're set for life, because, even though I live very far away from my old, D&D friends and stuff like that, they're still my friends. I still, communicate with them and stuff like that. And that was, oh my God, almost 30 years ago. It's like 27, 28 years ago when I started.
It's weird to think about, Matty, because you mentioned, I was thinking of the group I'm playing with since I was like 7 years old. We live all over the country. 2 of them live in New Zealand right now.
Right.
We're still friends after all these years because one thing brought us together. A very simple thing. At a playground one day when I was just rolling dice to make a new character, I met my oldest friends who are some amazing players and great GMs on their own respects. Now, if I could just get us all in one time zone and stream together, you guys would see just how mean of a GM I really am.
And that's what the bane of our existence, folks. Time zones. So, with that said, hold on. What is going on over there? Oh, I didn't know they were doing that today. Oh, okay. Oh well. Yeah, we got to do that. Okay. So we're gonna wrap up here, and so we're gonna go around the room, have everybody say where you can find them on the internet and what they're up to, and then normally on a day like this, we would usually raid Castle Mac because they're awesome and they have a fantastic show. Occasionally on Saturdays, but my friend Kim is playing in a game on the non-toxic gaming channel right now for charity, And the charity is for autism, and which is near and dear to my heart and my husband's heart, because he was a special needs teacher for many years and a developmental specialist, specifically working with people with autism. So we're gonna raid them here pretty soon. It's supposed to be a really great game, but we're gonna say our goodbyes, and while we do that, I'm going to move us over to our thank you screen. Our boxes are going to get a little smaller, but we're all there. Hi, we're all here. And I just want to say, since Tyler's here, and the Thread Raiders are putting on a big fundraiser for our friend Alex, aka Stinkrat Streams. She definitely needs some help for medical costs and to improve her way of life. So we're raising money. If you can help, that would be awesome. But please join us on February 23rd on the Thread Raiders Twitch channel for the Stink Raiser. Also, follow at Thread Raiders and Thread Raiders. Is it Thread Raiders VG or Thread VG?
Thread VG.
Thread VG. Go ahead and follow those, and there will be more streams to benefit us, our friend Alex. And or you can just go to her GoFundMe page. So that would be awesome. And I know the names are all right. I got it right this time. This is fantastic. So Dana, where can people find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hi, I'm Dana. You can find me mostly on Twitter at Dana Levy. You can find me on Wednesdays playing in A New Dawn on Soul Bear RPG, and maybe in some other little one-shots here and there on the internet. And that's really all I'm doing right now. So
awesome. TK, what about you?
You can find me at Kenthos88. As Matty put in the thank you screen, I stream a lot on the Thread Raiders channel. And I won't bore everyone with all the projects I have going on. I will be posting about them a lot on Twitter now that I have finally got the TPK Theater back from the editor. And after chatting with you and Mage, realize 649-page document, I cannot conscience putting that all up on DM Guild all at once. So I'm breaking that up into little micro adventures.
There you go.
And, because that would be a lot, and I'm pretty sure Mage would hunt me down and kill me if I put that up as pay what you want as a complete set. After long conversations we've had about our own worth.
And you have to know your own worth, and your time is worth. Okay, our time is worth something, and we have to realize that, and it's okay. And that brings up a whole nother topic. So, anyway, and Riley, what about you?
Hi, you can find me on Soul Bear RPG, playing a Tal'Dorei campaign every Wednesday. And you can find me on Twitter at Riley Avery. That's like the only D&D related projects I'm doing right now. I wouldn't even call it project. I just have fun and play a game on Wednesdays.
And we literally just have fun and play a game.
I just show up and wreck everything.
While Brian just systematically tortures us. But you know what? He's a really good DM, so I mean,
yeah, he's really good.
There it is. And folks, hey, I'm Matty. If you're here, you probably know why. But you can find me Wednesdays and Fridays over at Soul Bear RPG, where I play Dungeons and Dragons with friends, like my friends here. And of course, I host this show on Saturdays, and we'll soon be doing some Dragonlance one-shots right here on this channel, along with I think I have another idea coming up, but we'll see. It just depends on time. Because I spend most of my time working on this little beauty right here. Yeah. So nerdware. Oh. like this, and stuff like that, and like what my friends are wearing
I
because
don't even know if you can see.
they're fantastic. Yeah, there you go. And so nerdwear.com. And yeah. What was I gonna say about that? Oh, I don't know. Well, we just added Welcome Party RPG to the shop. So, I mean, got some great groups like Dumpstack Charisma, Nerdy Point of View Podcast, my friend Joy at Dire Foxcorn, my friend Carrie at Shrieky, and I have another friend who has a few things that she'd like to add to that I might be talking to about. So head on down there, get some dope stuff, and I know, and then I threw it to the ground. Yeah, that's great. And I will be checking. Make sure to if you're not following at So Nerdwear on Twitter, go ahead and follow that because later tonight I'm going to be posting a very special coupon code. The biggest coupon code I have ever given out. So check it out. And we're going to raid our friends at the Non-Toxic Gaming. I think. Did I do that? Yes. Okay, and we click raid, and I think that's what you